So you guys, you're atheists.
Yeah.
Do you believe in a spiritual world?
When you say I don't know if there's a God or not, you're saying that's an agnostic statement. It's saying I don't know. When you say I can't say I believe in God, well, that's an atheist statement. That's saying I don't have belief. So if you don't have the belief, then you're a non-believer. And people have a hard time with that because they tend to look at atheism as a statement of knowledge, but it's really not. So when you can't say you believe in it, you don't have the belief. So definitionally, that makes you an atheist. Now, your personal understanding of atheism may make that a little bit uncomfortable to say, because it's like, oh, wait a second, but I don't know if there's a God or not. But that's not what the question really is. It's, do you believe?
I've seen you guys show a lot, and I wanted to call in particular today. I see you're live. I've heard you guys go on and on about this, and when it comes to talking about the Bible, you guys are just practically illiterate.
Really?
I've heard what you say, and you guys really don't have any facts at all.
Like what?
Well, just like anything you've ever said today about the Bible, about, anything that you've ever said about it. Besides, what I'd really like to do is someday I'm going to come down there and punch your fat face in for Jesus. That's what I'm going to do.
Really? Do you think that's what Jesus wants you to do? Because
yeah, definitely. He's going to come back and he's just going
to... Does he want me to turn the other cheek when you do that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
He's going to be real happy.
At least we figured out who was illiterate.
Yeah, but that's not that isn't sanctioned by the state.
It's not a law, okay? We're talking about, this book advocates laws, and you're saying that they're a good thing, that it's a good thing to beat somebody who committed adultery, or that it's a good thing to beat somebody.
Somebody's punished when they break a law. We have to have law and order.
Okay.
If someone breaks a law, we have to punish the people who are breaking laws. It's pretty simple.
So you support lashing and death penalty for adultery?
Yeah, the death penalty for adultery.
Wow. Okay.
Jenna,
I just want to thank you because you're like a billboard for atheism. What you're really asserting, and the thing that is demonstrable, is something can come from something. We don't have a nothing to see whether or not anything can come from it. So a claim that regards nothing is a useless claim. All what you're saying is we have a lot of examples of something coming from something. In fact, every example we have is something coming from something else. And I understand that. But to say that something can't come from nothing, you have to have a nothing. And I've never seen that, so I don't know what that is. No one knows. If there's a question that has no verifiable answer at this point, then saying that you know, or having asserting knowledge on the topic is an absurd thing to do. I mean, you're either, I don't know how else to describe it. It's like, unless it's an outright lie, then the other option is that you believe it, in which case you're saying, no, there is no evidence and we don't know, but I'm saying it's this. And it's like, well, why am I challenging that? Because you have no reason to be saying it. I don't know is an honest answer. Making things up when you don't know is not an honest answer. The idea here is that we have three jars. We have a jar that has existent dice. We have a jar that has supernatural, transcendent dice. And we have a jar of nothing. There's nothing in this jar. And what we did last time is we just sort of mixed them all up. And then I asked Matt, which jar has the real dice?
That one.
Okay. And which jar has the supernatural transcendent dice?
I don't know.
Why not?
Because they look the same to me.
The problem with these is that if you have something that you define as something that has no measurable manifestation, and we don't know how to measure it, and there's nothing that you can provide that is how we identify it from nothing, how do you identify it from nothing? It's the same as nothing until you can find a way to demonstrate that it's something.
I would ask God to tell me which of those has this, but unfortunately that spoon is still a spoon.
In an atheistic world, though, why does truth matter so much to you?
Why wouldn't it matter?
It's all that you've got.
Why wouldn't it matter? It's all there is. See, here's the thing. My position of wanting to believe as many true things and as few false things as possible is about making sure that my internal model of reality that lives in my brain matches the actual reality that I inhabit as closely as possible. Because the decisions that I make are going to take place within that reality that I experience. And so if my internal model differs widely from reality, I'm going to make bad decisions that are going to be harmful to myself and others. And I'd rather make good decisions.
Even in a world without any future except extinction, truth doesn't matter because it's very practical. You're saying there's a practical aspect.
What difference does the future make? What difference does whether or not I'm going to die make? It's like saying you shouldn't eat your lunch because you're just going to poop it out later. Well, it mattered at the time.
Yeah, and the fact is, I mean, like, I bought a house, right? And we had somebody come in and do an inspection, a home inspection, right? I mean, I don't want to spend a lot of my hard-earned resources on a house that has some major flaw and find out about it after I've committed to it and signed all the paperwork. I mean, there's a reason why you want to know what's actually going on every single day. Your life depends on understanding what actually is happening, not some fantasy.
Know what's true, and you could still lie.
People lie.
People lie, and sometimes it's beneficial. So what?
So there's no real penalty necessarily for lying in certain situations, whereas in theism there is that last accounting before the Supreme Being.
If you ask forgiveness, though, you get off the hook for everything, including child molestation.
Yeah, you could rape, pillage, and murder, and as long as you,
terrible.
at the end of your life, fulfill the obligations for eternal reward, you get. So don't pretend like you believe in some actual justice system. Christianity, in particular, and most of the other religions that offer some sort of escape clause, are not justice. It's capriciousness.
Yeah,
it's God picking and choosing who he wants to hang out with him on criteria that is not based on what people do. If we were actually talking about a system where people actually got what they deserved, and I don't even know what that is, what that means. What do you deserve?
There's nothing that happens. I mean, this world, so much stuff happens that nobody could possibly ever deserve.
Yeah.
So why is God so immoral? First of all, why is God so immoral?
I don't know. Why don't you ask him?
Yeah. First of all,
I would love to know why he's so freaking immoral.
I don't think that God exists, but if we're talking about the God character in the Bible,
Right.
as God is represented,
As he's written, it's horrible.
You know, it's a pretty horrible, jealous, angry being that advocates slavery. I don't know why he's that way. Maybe he's just a dick.
I said to somebody earlier today that you either have a God who sends child rapists to rape children, or you have a God who simply watches it and says, when you're done, I'm going to punish you.
Does child rapism make you mad, Matt? I mean, do you hear about that and get angry? Yes or no?
What?
Do you get angry when you hear about a child rapist?
Yes.
Well, so why shouldn't God get mad when he hears about evil in this world? You tell me that.
If there was a God and he heard about evil in this world, I think he should get mad.
Well, here's the thing, though.
What the hell's that got to do with anything?
If I were in a situation where I could stop a child rapist, I would. That's the difference between me and your God.
Yeah.
So you were studying to be a minister?
Yes.
And then now you don't believe in God?
That's correct.
Man, you the devil, man.
No.